The Cannabis Show is for information only. You should always consult with a qualified and licensed physician or other medical care provider.
Welcome to the Cannabis Show. To the people of Canada, today marks a very special day after decades of prohibition. It's over. Today, Hart celebrates legalization in Hart to Hart. Kait reads us the top headlines in cannabis. We are joined by Kelly from Spiritleaf for a special panel. All that and more, keep watching.
Word came down at the end of September that Calgary police officers are banned from consuming legal recreational cannabis, even on days off. And the union representing the members isn't happy. In this scenario, members of the police force using recreational cannabis on the first day of, say, a 5-day off stretch are, with this sweeping mandate, not fit for duty 5 days later. The police officer in charge of the cannabis legalization effort for CPS said abstinence for sworn members is really the most logical way to start, given we don't know how it can impair judgment, decision-making, and cognitive processes. The Canadian military, on the other hand, has not banned recreational cannabis use by its members. They just can't consume within 8 hours of being on duty, and they aren't allowed to smoke or ingest cannabis during the workday. Calgary Police Service is saying this recreational ban could look completely different 12 months from now. Thank you to CBS for this story. One trend in cannabis, and it's a big one, is that surveys show newer recreational customers will typically be 35 to 54 years old. The majority will have some experience with cannabis, but only 41% of them will have used it in the last 5 years. Other markers are they typically have a university or post-secondary education of some type. They tend to put their families and responsibilities first, and I'd say that describes most of us here. What they are looking for is more choices in product potency, like lower THC levels, more info about terpenes, and CBD choices. That's News Hits.
All right, cannabis legalization here in Canada, my friends.
Happening.
Yeah.
It is awesome. First day of legalization, changing the world right here in Canada. It's just amazing. We got Basil. We got Kait, and we got, you're not Hart. Hart's coming up right away with a very special Hart to Hart. But right here, we got Kelly Gibson from Spiritleaf, based in Calgary here.
That's right.
I did not know that. I always see you guys at trade shows and stuff in
We're
different parts of the country, and I thought you flew in this morning for
No, I'm right in your own neck of the woods.
That is funny. Before we could talk a little bit more about that, your news tips there.
Yeah.
You know, that story with the cops, at first it really bothered me. I was like, what? You can't do that, you know? But at least they're saying, look, this will probably change in 12 months. You gotta hold them to that, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are taking the long look at things, right? So not everything has to happen immediately, and they're erring to the side of caution, and they carry firearms. There's a lot of good points that they're making, you know?
Yeah, but the military, I think, has a pretty fair set of rules, and I would assume that most, you know, police forces across the country are gonna go that way. I think erring to the side of caution is like, this is a bit of an understatement here. Like, this is way to the side of caution.
Keep in mind,
I don't think it's that.
But medicinal, they'll still, I mean, if they're using it for medicinal, they'll still be able to do that. So if they,
I know it's easy for us to say because we understand what this plant is, but this is, you know, a group of people that are most likely going to be going home and using alcohol instead, and then those officers who would choose to use cannabis instead, and now they can't.
Yeah,
I think it's unfortunate.
They're ignoring some of the science. Like, if you get 5 days off, there's no, you know, like if you just have it in your first day and they're still kind of counting you off for your 5th day, that is a little.
Well, you know, I mean, is cannabis legal? I mean, really, is it? Is it legal now? Like, I mean, you can still get fined and stuff. What's your take on that, Kelly?
Well, I feel that definitely most of the rules are very conservative, and perhaps we're going to work back from that a little bit. I sure hope, but I think in some ways we're probably maybe a little bit too conservative as well as what Basil's saying. But certainly it'd be harder to get more conservative than less conservative. So I think that's kind of the point we're at now.
Maybe in the right direction at least. The age group, they're thinking what, consumers 33 to 44? Was that the?
I believe it was like 35 to 54.
Oh, 54.
Yeah, and which
So I'm in
kind
the
of
age group.
most of us are, I think. But yeah, it kind of echoes like with medicinal, it was the seniors that were jumping on it, and with recreational, they figure the older age groups as well will be the ones who are really jumping on it.
So legalization, people could, as of today, can go to stores and buy them, and there's it's different in all parts of the country. But here in Calgary, there's how many stores open today?
Maybe just 2 or 3, and there's a couple factors there. So obviously, each municipality, particularly in Alberta, was a little slow to get to their cannabis dispensary licensing, and also the secondary issue is getting the workers certified, and there's been a real delay there as well. So we've got 2 factors going against us right now.
When do you think, Basil, like, we are going to get back to par? Like, when do you think it should be running how it's supposed to be? 2, 3 years?
I mean, let's say maybe 5 years down the road till we really got it all sorted out and figured out, and the type of system that people are actually picturing, prior to today. That what you were thinking a dispensary was going to look like. I'd say we're probably going to be there like 3 to 5 years.
I think that's a good estimation, and avoiding the bad headlines along the way. I think that's important, not giving the people, the naysayers, any ammunition whatsoever. It's like we're being, as conscientious as possible in that time frame.
Yeah. And the laws that we're under right now, they're kind of there for 5 years, correct? Like, I mean, aren't we, like, they can change it again in 5 years if they wanted, or tweak it under the Senate, or I think that's what I heard, but I guess we're looking 3 to 5 years anyway. So, Kelly, thanks for being here on the first day of legalization in Canada.
Thanks for having me. I'm so thrilled.
It's a day of celebration for all of Canada, and hopefully this is going to translate internationally. Hart is not here right now, but he's going to be up in just a sec with another edition of Heart to Heart.
Hi. I kind of feel like we should take a little time out and actually celebrate the fact that cannabis is now legal in our country. So, it brings a little song to mind, and I would love to share that song with you. There is something going on right here, a celebration that's taken about 100 years. So bring your good bud and your grinder too. We're gonna smoke some legal cannabis with you. Come on now, legalization. It's now legalized and it's about time. Yeah, legalization. It's now legalized, so have a good time. It's time to smoke together some Kush or Haze. What's your pleasure? Everyone in Canada, come on!
Legalization.
Oh, yeah, it's got a good ring to it.
I'm gonna have that song in my head all day today.
Everybody.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Happy Cannabis Day, legalization in Canada.
Yeah, what a great
Good day.
Got a question, and it's a really important one. And really, I mean, we're going to use all 3 of you guys to answer this one. Heather said, what's the scoop with able to grow at home now? She believes it's 4 plants per household. What is it? That's from Heather. Like, what are we looking at now? I mean, can you start growing cannabis today at home?
4 plants?
Yeah, 4 plants, exactly.
Where do you get it from?
It's always important to check your bylaws and your provincial regulations, but as long as you're not in Manitoba, Quebec, or Nunavut, you can grow 4 plants at home. As for seeds, they should be available through the provincial dispensaries as soon as they're available from the licensed producers.
What are some of the obstacles or Basil with this right now?
Growing cannabis?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
That is
that's a tough one.
not easy.
Have fun and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because some of those regulations could change. The provincial government in Quebec has recently just changed. They're also talking about raising the age from 19 to 21. So it's kind of always in a state of flux. So best, I guess, to just check that website.
Notices going around too with to apartment buildings, Calgary housing. Like it's kind of like a bully tactic. You can't smoke it or anything, but can they grow it? I don't know.
Yeah, they're gonna have to write it into your rental agreement, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you ever have any questions or unsure, always best to check Health Canada's website or canada.ca. But checking your rental agreement or checking your provincial laws or your city bylaws is always going to be the best bet.
Just one final thought before we go. 4 plants. Is that going to make all the snow on your roof melt? Is it going to stink out your house? Is it going to be sellable? What are we looking at? 4 plants. What's it going to do to your house?
You might smell a little bit more.
Yeah, in the flowering state,
Yeah.
you might smell a little bit more, but
It's not getting
everybody's had a house plant before. You should be able to
affect
grow it without affecting your house in any way.
Yeah, and your electrical bills aren't going to skyrocket or anything like that.
Yeah, you could
right?
buy crazy lights and have 1 plant under 4 huge lights, but most people aren't going to notice much difference at all growing a few plants at home.
It is legal now, they say, 4 per household, but still, like, check everything and make sure you are in the right kind of thing. So you might have some obstacles yet. On behalf of Kelly, Kait, who were on the show earlier, Basil, Evan, Hart, and myself, Chris, happy legalization in Canada. Put it there, guys. Woo!